Alright guys, so I realized pretty quickly that a lot of folks' schedules are going to be really weird for this Friday. Because I know a lot of y'all are taking AP tests and getting prepared for those. So I just want to make something that would be a little bit easier for you in regards to accessing any of this information. So I just decided to do a YouTube video kind of last minute to let you guys know some updates and just make sure that we've got all of our bases covered in terms of what the expectations need to be for the AP exam. It's going to be this Tuesday. Okay, so let's run through just a couple of things. We'll try and go as quickly as possible, but be as concise as possible as well. So, when is the AP test? Just make sure that we're all aware and on the same page that AP test is going to be this Tuesday for AP Psychology, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. Okay? So this Tuesday, May 19th at 2 p.m. So make sure you've cleared your schedules. You can be there. And make sure you're logged in at least 30 minutes before that test time. I highly recommend that you try and get logged in earlier than that. I'm just kind of a person that worries about stuff not working, stuff taking a little bit too much extra time. So if you run into any sort of problems, those can be fixed and taken care of. So I highly recommend that you get logged in even before then, if at all possible. You'll get logged in through an exam code that has either been emailed to your personal email. If you use your school email through College Board as a means to contact you, I believe there's been some issues with the county blocking those emails from College Board. So hopefully up until this point you have changed your email and your contact info to your personal email, as we've talked about. However, if you have not done that, you can still access that code through the College Board website. So if you do not have an email, and that should be sent 2 days prior to your AP exam. So if on Sunday, late Sunday, early Monday, you don't see anything from College Board, go ahead and log into College Board like you were going to AP Classroom, and you should have an exam code there. If you don't see it at any of those locations, or if you don't have access to AP Classroom and College Board and all that, like if you were going to go look at your exam scores, you need to contact me ASAP so we can figure out how to get you access and find out why you don't have a code. Okay? If you have not done so already, take the practice exam. Take it through whatever means you would be taking the regular exam. So if you're taking the AP exam on your home computer, take it on that home computer in whatever browser you'd be using. If you're doing it on your phone, go ahead and try it through your phone, laptop, iPad, whatever. Go ahead and take that practice exam so you're familiar with how all of that is going to work, how you're going to upload responses, and to make sure that you have access to that exam and it works on whatever device you happen to be using. Okay, you can access that AP exam demo through this URL right here, cb.org/APdemo. Okay, it also has a video there to show you the ropes and what it is that you'll need to be doing when you take that AP exam. So if you haven't done that yet, please prioritize getting that done. Like as soon as you're done watching this video, go do it, or like pause this video and go do it. Okay. There are some things that you need to make sure that you have on your AP exam day. So prior to that Tuesday at 2 p.m., please make sure that you have these things. First of all, if you're taking the exam on a home computer or a laptop, I highly recommend that you use Google Chrome, just because that's what has seemed to be the recommended browser based on everything that I've been seeing from College Board and from other students that have taken other AP exams up to this point. Seems to be the one with the least amount of issues. I'm sure you guys have kind of seen that there's been a few issues here and there, but don't let that freak you out. More than 9 times out of 10, it's going to work absolutely fine. But just in case, let's try and cover all our bases. Make sure you're using Chrome. Also, make sure that your browser is up to date. Okay? If you're typing your response, go ahead and ensure that you have a Word document available, already opened, prior to you even accessing the exam or putting your code in or anything, or a Google Doc in a separate window. Okay? Just because you're going to be typing your response in that Word document or in that Google Doc, then you're going to copy and paste that into whatever the exam submission window looks like. Okay? So make sure you have either a blank Word document or a blank Google Doc ready. If you're handwriting, Make sure you have everything that you need available to you. Make sure you have plenty of paper, way more than you think you will need. Make sure that you have plenty of writing utensils. So if you're using a pencil, make sure you got a couple. If you're using a pen, make sure you got a couple nearby, just in case something doesn't work or something breaks, who knows. But just be as prepared as possible. Also, regardless of whether you are typing, whether you're handwriting your response, a lot of people have forgotten to do this. This has been a little bit of an issue that College Board has addressed and made sure that we address as well. Please make sure to include your AP ID and also your initials at the top of your page if you are handwriting and if you are typing your response. Okay? So make sure to include that AP ID and your initials when you answer this AP exam question. Okay? Have the checklist that is available on College Board ready. I don't know if there's anything specific that they're doing with that checklist, if they want you to upload that or send a picture of it or something. I don't know. But it is required that you have that checklist filled out and completed on exam day. I provided you guys with a link here. It just got a bunch of check boxes. It asks for your AP ID and a couple of other things, little pieces of information. So please go ahead and make sure that this is done. It's saved to your desktop, or it is printed out and done and completed, so that if you are handwriting, you can take a picture of it and upload it if that is required. Or if you are having to upload this document, if you're doing an online test via a laptop or whatever, you can upload that as well. So just make sure to have this ready, just in case. A couple other things. Keep in mind you can have access to a variety of different resources. I would not use internet-based resources just because of the possibility that you might end up closing your exam or leaving the window and having issues getting back into your AP exam, or maybe something potentially getting flagged. I just wouldn't want that to happen. So a couple of things just to make sure to have nearby to help you out as an available resource, because you can have those available to you, is your textbook. Have that nearby. I would recommend that if you've got like a little fold-up table, or if you have a big computer desk, have that open and ready. I would recommend turn to the glossary or the index. Highly recommend having it just turn to the glossary. So if there happens to be a term that you're unfamiliar with, or you want to just to check yourself to make sure you are correctly defining and applying that term, you can turn to it real quick. Also, I have the cram packet that has been uploaded to Google Classroom. I'll show you where that is real quick. It is under exam review resources under classwork, and that's the cram packet, okay? It's got all of the different units, okay, organized. You've got the terms underlined and defined in a very concise manner. Once again, keep in mind this is organized by unit, okay? So that is available to you. I would highly recommend that you have that printed off and somewhere nearby, a physical copy. Couple other things. What if? Don't refresh your browser. Once you've started your test, do not refresh your browser. It may log you out. You have to log back in. That's lost time. You don't want that to happen. Once you start this test, the timer starts to tick. Regardless of whether you're in that window, on that window, have X'd out of that window or whatever, that timer keeps on ticking. You don't want to lose time. So do not refresh your browser once the test has started. If you run out of time before the answer is submitted, your submission will not be accepted. So make sure you are keeping a close eye, whether it be on your phone or on the laptop or whatever, of how much time you have left. Do keep in mind that the upload time, which is the 5 minutes that you are allowed to upload your particular response, is included in the time that is shown on the timer. Okay? Once again, the 5-minute upload time that you are given is included in the time that is presented on the timer for your response. Okay? So do not expect for that timer to hit 0 and then you have an additional 5 minutes to upload your response. That's not how that's going to work, okay? So just be aware of that fact. The timer that you see includes the full amount of time you have to respond and to submit your response. So keep a close eye on that. Be aware of how much time you have left. If you're not done answering it once you hit about a minute left, go ahead and just upload whatever that you have have responded. They have created this exam knowing that you're going to be rushing, knowing that you might not have all of the time that you're going to need. Keep in mind, everybody else is rushing around to try and answer the same amount of responses that you are. So if you don't get all of them answered, in all likelihood that might have happened to a good portion of other people as well. So you're not going to be the only one. Don't feel bad about that. Don't feel stressed. Don't worry about it. Just move on to the next exam question and relax. Take your time. But also just be aware of the time that you have. Okay? If you're not able to access your exam, meaning at no point was a code entered and you were granted access to the exam, you'll be sent a new code to use for the make-up date. So for whatever reason, you missed the window, you're not able to access it, your code doesn't work, you will be given a new code and will need to take the exam at the make-up date. I highly recommend that if this happens, you go to the following URL and fill out that questionnaire that is there, okay, for requesting an exam make-up. If you use your code and the tab is closed or you temporarily lose connection and you cannot regain access, if you use your code and the tab is closed, you can regain access by using your e-ticket. That's the code the College Board emails you. So if for whatever reason window closes for just 20-30 seconds, you can re-access that by using that same e-ticket. So long as you haven't lost a substantial amount of time, I would say just go ahead and do that. You lose 20-30 seconds, you've just lost it. It's better to go ahead and get that response turned in. However, if you're unable to regain access, so you've started the exam, maybe you're somebody hits a light pole down the road, you're no longer able to gain access to the internet because your power's out, or you lose internet connectivity. Well, your exam has continued to tick, the time is up, you're going to need to request an exam makeup. You'll have to go to that URL. If you lose a significant portion of time because of connectivity issues, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and request a makeup there as well. Okay? So anything that's an extenuating circumstance that's completely out of your control, go ahead and request that makeup so that you can get the best possible score available to you. Okay? If you do have to request a makeup or your exam submission is not accepted for whatever reason, please make sure to go and fill this form out and also let me know and let Mr. Tesh know. We want to make sure that we are aware of which kids have taken this AP test, are done with it, and which ones may need additional resources or help moving forward until that makeup date. Okay? Some things to avoid. Distractions. Make your family, make your friends aware you are taking the AP exam. You're going to be unavailable for about an hour and a half, okay? If you're uploading on your phone, I highly recommend that you disable notifications, go into your settings, so if you're uploading something, trying to take a picture or whatever, you are not going to get a Snapchat notification. It's going to leave the browser window. That's time that you've lost, okay? So I would say disable your notifications on your phone, especially if you're using it as an upload device. If not, I would just move your phone away from you unless you're using that as some sort of tool in order to help you out. Maybe you've got a few resources on your phone that you're using, like Quizlet or whatever, which is something that you can use during this test. Get away from your family, if at all possible. Go to a room. Ask them if you can have like an office space or the kitchen, living room to yourself for the time that you're taking that exam, just because you don't want somebody coming in, breaking your train of thought, interrupting you or whatever. Okay? So if at all possible, just get away from any sort of distractions in the way of friends or family. Try and avoid connectivity problems if at all possible. Make sure that you are the only one on the network. So, little brother, little sister, tell them to hop off the Xbox or the PlayStation. You got some stuff that you need to do. It's only going to be for an hour. Then go outside, throw rocks. Who cares? So, just get the network to yourself if at all available. Make sure nobody's streaming anything. Make sure nobody is watching YouTube or Netflix, just because that's going to pull from that bandwidth. You want to avoid any potential problems. If you're on your phone, try to connect to a home Wi-Fi source, especially in rural areas out towards where Oak Grove is at. You may not have a very strong phone connection. I know that I don't. I can't even send a text message sitting in the parking lot of Oak Grove. So connect to a Wi-Fi source. Okay, if one is available, just to make sure that you have that solid connection you can use to upload your responses. If you're using a laptop or if you're using a home PC and it's on Wi-Fi, if you have the ability to connect to a hardwired connection, please do that. it's less likely that you're going to lose connection randomly because the Wi-Fi signal goes out or your router goes out or whatever. So just try and get a hardwired connection if at all possible. Avoid cheating. College Board has been keeping us all updated and aware of different cheating methods that kids have been using, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, just to try and keep you guys informed and to make sure that you avoid any sort of methods of cheating. Keep in mind, there are a large amount of resources and opportunities available to you for this particular exam. However, working together and working with each other and or asking me questions is not one of those resources. Okay, that's cheating. They'll find out, and you will be punished for it. Okay, I tell you what, if I'm going off to college, I don't want my first impression to be that college finding out that I cheated on an exam. It's a big, big deal in college, and it could potentially impact your acceptance to that college or your continued attendance to it. So just make sure that you are being as fair and as ethical as possible while taking this test, okay? Also, what we have seen too is people have been talking about the exams right after the exams. I saw one girl and she had just posted a meme about, gosh, it might have been the APUSH exam or the AP Gov exam or something, and College Board flagged that as cheating, and she is having to appeal that cheating claim. But you want to avoid that, so what I would say is just right after the exam, don't talk about it. Don't talk to your peers about that exam. And I would say just keep all that info to yourself until you get the go-ahead that, hey, you can finally talk about what your responses were or whatever from me or from College Board or whoever. Also, make sure, once again, to avoid running out of time. Always keep a close eye on your timer. Don't run out of time. Make sure all the resources you have are nearby so you're not losing time. You don't want to start your exam and go, oh crap, I don't have my textbook, and then have to spend 2 or 3 minutes rummaging through your room or trying to find it, run out to your car and get it or whatever. So, a couple of things that I've created for you guys to make accessible to you. I made that new folder on AP Classroom that has a couple of resources for you when you take the exam or prior to it. So it's under Exam Review Resources once again. I have Quizlets for every single unit. I've linked that to you guys, so every single unit is individualized. So if you're struggling on one particular one, maybe you're having some issues remembering the different schools of psychology, or maybe you're having issues in understanding the different theories of emotion, you can go to each one of those individual units and review those, which I would highly recommend that you do, regardless of whether you feel like you're struggling with those units or not, just to refresh that info, make sure it's relatively new and recent. I've also posted Morgan AP review videos. This is a AP psychology teacher whose videos I've actually used a few times to help me to review some information, and I highly recommend him. Some of them are lengthy, but I think that's good because he goes really into depth with a lot of these things. He has a lot of memory techniques he uses in order to remember some of these terms and topics, so I would highly recommend that you check out just a couple of those, maybe some of the bigger ones you might be struggling with, especially go look at those. There's no way I don't think that you'll have enough time to watch all of them, which I wouldn't recommend that you do that because that's just going to be way too much. But his channel does have a lot of different units broken down into separate topics. I would look at the ones you feel like you struggle with the most. Just a link to that YouTube page. It takes you to this video for unit 1.2 through 1.6. But if you just go to his YouTube, Morgan AP Teaching, go to playlists, and then he's got AP Psychology full course, and it'll bring up this playlist here. So, commonly used FRQ terms. This is a PDF. This is broken down by unit. This has the old formatting for AP Psychology. However, this does include all 7 units that would be on this AP exam. So like personality and motivation are all now combined into one particular unit. That's unit 7. So just be aware that even though there's 11 different units here, all of these are terms that would appear on a 1 through 7 test. So these are the most commonly used terms. I would make sure at least to look at this first one, unit 1 and 2. It has the terms that were used and the number of times they've been used on these AP exams. If there were no other terms that I would say to study, it would be this list. Just because they've been used before, especially the ones that have been used like 6 times, I would definitely make sure to know that. And then lastly, that cram packet, highly recommend that you have a printed copy of that available if you have not already printed out a copy just on exam day. So, with that all being said, that is it for this video. Last thing, just would really appreciate it if after you have taken the exam, you just let me know that you have taken it and just how you feel about it. Feel good, feel bad, how confident you were. No specific info about the exam, just say, hey, I took it, feel good about it. I always want to hear how you guys felt like you did and how prepared you felt. Okay? So, that's it. You guys enjoy your weekend. Study. Make sure to space that out. Make sure to take some time to relax. Take some you time. Don't want to overload yourself. Make sure to sleep plenty the night before your exam. Make sure to eat a big breakfast. Have a good lunch. And make sure to just get logged in early so everything is taken care of and you have nothing you need to stress about on that exam day once you get started with the exam. Okay? You all do great. You're all more than prepared. You're going to do wonderful. Your FRQs have been looking awesome. I can't wait to see all of these fantastic scores we're going to get out of this. Okay? Take care.